you know, is just incredible shop. I mean, for such a, like in America, you know, I come from a city of maybe 2 million, 3 million people, and there's no store like this, you know, so chic to sell to such a small audience. I think what it shows, it's very modern, very sophisticated in the sense that they obviously have a lot of tourists. So to keep a business, I used to have a showroom before I started the site, so I know what it's like to have a store. So you have to be so such good communicators to be able to communicate with your audience that are tourists that live probably all over the world. It's I think it's very it really says something unique and modern about a store that's able to do that. It's a lot like Italy in the sense that, like, Garance is from Paris, and you know, so much of Paris is so scrubbed and so clean and beautiful in its way. In Florence and in Milan, they allow it to have a little bit of a little patina, you know, a little moss growing on the buildings, a little variation of color and things. So as I said, it's beautiful because there's just so many. You know, you've got a person in the foreground and in the background. There's just so many beautiful shades of color. I do everything in a very abstract way because there are a lot of people, they've only seen their picture taken from Florence, because I shoot them at Pitti, and they've only seen that person's picture associated with Florence, even though that person might be from Japan or Norway. There's people that I only see here in Florence that I never see anywhere else. So their picture always says Florence, even though they're not from Florence. So I think what that says is Florence is so international. You know, it's one of the most international cities in Italy. You know, more so I think than Milan. You know,
even more than Milan, you mentioned? Or?
I think more than Milan, because you also, you know, you have a bigger tourist here than you have in Milan, and in Rome you've got tourists, but you don't have the super chic that you have here. So I mean, for me, the only person I can really think of that I can't wait till I see him is Simone, that owns the store that's on the site now, Tie Your Tie. So chic, so gracious, so charming in his kind of commitment to running a beautiful small shop. I mean, when I first got to know Simone, I would say, well, why don't you do something on the internet? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? As I was getting to know him. And he would say, that's not what I do. You know, I just have this nice little small store in Florence. And so I think there's something charming about, you know, realizing what you have and keeping that. You know, I think that's very nice. You know, a lot of people want it to be, you know, for the money and do this kind of thing. He realizes he leads a very romantic, small, beautiful life. So I know, for me, I really appreciate that. More than likely, if they're Pitti people, they're wearing white jeans and white jeans in the winter, with a blue sport coat and some kind of blue patterned shirt and brown Todd's boots or something like that. I mean, there are very, very specific Pitti looks that I wonder if they even wear that when they go back home to Amsterdam or anywhere else. They probably wear it just for their time when they're here, because they know they can wear white jeans at Pitti in the winter here. But yeah, you know, I mean, to me, it's like the Super Bowl of men's fashion. To me, this is so much more what real men want to look like and dress like than what you see in Milan during the Fashion Week. You know, that's really pushing the envelope. Where here, it's real guys wearing clothes they can really wear. And so I think that's, you know, that's why it's so important for me to come here for a couple days and shoot. And I don't even shoot that much. I mean, today I was there all day. The last couple days I've been there all day. And maybe I get 20 shots, but those 20 shots are usually, you know, something that really means something to me and the people that read the blog. I've shot women here before, but it's usually by coincidence, you know. And I will say, it's one of the specific reasons I wanted to do the book signing here at Luisaviaroma. That, you know, I know so many people, so many of the men's people when I come to Florence, but what I don't know as well is the women's market and the women that live in Florence and all of that. So I think, you know, where else to go but here to, you know, meet the coolest, most chic women in Florence is here at Luisaviaroma. When I started teaching myself photography, I started in film, and I would shoot film, take it into the processing, get the images back, be able to hold them in my hands, the pictures, the 4x6 pictures. And it's great, to get to hold photographs. And one of the things I hadn't really thought about, but a lot of these photographs I had never held. There's something about holding something in your hand as opposed to seeing it on a screen that totally changes your relationship to that image. And once, these prints started coming up that I was correcting for the book, and as the book started to take shape, it was great to hold these photographs, even as a book. So I just think to me, it was a no-brainer. We'd say in America, no-brainer. Like, as a photographer, and just to want to possess something. And I mean, look at all the people. I mean, these are all pictures from the blog.
Yeah.
So even though and a lot of my audience are young, 20 to 30-year-old, they still all bought the book, and they have the same kind of, want to have the same kind of physical relationship with the photographs. And and plus, I had a chance with the book to do some writing. A lot of times I put the pictures up so quickly that I would always have a chance to express what I was really feeling at that time, and I don't really go back on the blog to do it, so this was a perfect opportunity for certain things that I wanted to talk about for the book. And it was also fun to be able to go and remix images. The blog is so chronological.
Yeah.
That it was great to go and be able to remix some of the images, maybe from 3 years ago, 1 year ago, put them together and lay them out in a different way that I just can't do on the blog. And it was a chance to work with them. Garance helped me a lot with the writing, all the forward, all that. So it was kind of fun to work with her on, trying to make it sound reasonably intelligent.